The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is on the air. Alabama football is rolling, and we got you covered with a breakdown of the game matchup, an SEC preview, and all the fun of an afternoon on the quad with Rivals Bama Insider Managing Editor Kyle Henderson and former Crimson Tide Sports Network broadcaster and SEC Network play-by-play voice Mick Gillespie. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is brought to you by Yuengling Lager. Yuengling, America's oldest brewery. Pearl River Resort Casino and Hotel in Choctaw, Mississippi. Let's play. Bama Buggy, best price, best selection, best service. Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Hyundai, the longer you look, the more there is to like. Rounders on the Strip, Vegas-style bar with the best rooftop in Tuscaloosa. Allstate agent Andrew Knipper. You're in good hands with Allstate. Innisfree, an Alabama Irish pub tradition. Tuscaloosa Tourism and Sports. Not too small, not too big. Tuscaloosa is pronounced just right. NewLifeArt.com, publisher of fine art editions by Daniel A. Moore. Screwball, the original peanut butter whiskey. R&R Cigar in downtown Tuscaloosa, home of the Victory Cigar.
Also brought to you by Hotel Indigo, Tuscaloosa's amazing upscale boutique lodging in downtown. The Floor Bama, world-famous beach bar and lounge in Orange Beach. Commercial banker Jay Weber with Service First Bank Fairhope.
And now, here are Kyle and Mick.
Welcome to the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. The show is presented by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. And for the next 2 hours, we're going to preview Alabama versus Auburn, the Iron Bowl at Bryant-Denny Stadium. On the show today, we got Leonard Sluicer. We got Lance Taylor from Jocks. He's going to give us Lance's locks. We got Jay Tate from the AuburnSports.com. I say how about AuburnSports.com? He's going to help us understand this Auburn Tigers team, and we're going to try to help you plan your own tailgate with a Mick and Brick beer review. Bricken's not here, but we got Trip Rogers hung out here at Innisfree last night. Yes, we are at Innisfree in Tuscaloosa, and the show's brought to you by Screwball, this remote Screwball peanut butter whiskey. It's going to be a really good time tonight. Alabama and Auburn is a big deal. It's a big deal. And they kick off at 2:30 at Bryant-Denny Stadium. I'm Mick Gillespie, teaming up with Kyle Henderson. Kyle is the managing editor of the Alabama rival site, Bama Insider. He's an expert on the Alabama program. And we also will have best-selling author and our recruiting expert, Andrew Bone, number 1 Alabama, number 22 Auburn. And this year's edition of the Iron Bowl, the Crimson Tide trying to get to 8-0 on the season. Kyle, with all that said, man, it's great to see you back at the studio, and we're going to talk some Alabama football. This is what it's all about, man, Alabama and Auburn.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really excited about tonight's show, and thank you everybody who's watching. If you're listening via podcast or if you're listening on the radio, I mean, it's Iron Bowl. This is a game that you think about 365 days out of the entire year, and it's finally that time. And everybody knows what happened last year. So you look at a game like this, tons of storylines going into it. Of course, none bigger than the fact that Nick Saban is not going to be on the sideline. But I think Alabama has enough quality coaches, and with Steve Sarkisian, who I'm sure we're going to talk about plenty tonight on the show, we'll have these guys ready to go, locked in, dialed in. It's a redemption game for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and it all starts at 2:39 from beautiful Bryant-Denny Stadium. I was down there today just walking around, and I mean, such a beautiful atmosphere, gorgeous day, and we should have great weather for the 2020 Iron Bowl.
Yeah, great to have you. Whether you're watching on the Bama Insider YouTube channel, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. This channel has had so much growth, Kyle, and it's because of all the awesome people who are part of what we do every day, and we appreciate you guys a lot. So thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. 9 to 11 every Saturday on Jocks 2. That's 100.5 in Birmingham and Tuscaloosa. On Saturday game days, that's when we bring you the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. And, of course, the podcast is available on the BamaInsider.com, Apple, Spotify, and podcast station. All right, a lot of breaking news this week. And we're going to start, Kyle, with Nick Saban. He's got COVID. He's out. What's the latest on him and the impact that it's going to have not having Nick Saban on the sideline in this Iron Bowl game?
Well, I think it's going to present an opportunity for some of these younger assistant coaches to really step up, and none bigger than Steve Sarkisian, who will be the interim coach without Nick Saban on the sideline. And Saban had very positive things to say about Sarkisian. You look at Steve Sarkisian and the way that he's resurrected his career after his departure from USC, came to Alabama for a brief stint, and then went to the Atlanta Falcons as the offensive coordinator, then back to Alabama for the last 2 seasons. And I think with Steve Sarkisian, he does have head coaching experience. And I think overall, he has that continuity. This is that, keep that word in the back of your mind, continuity, because Alabama, for the most part, has every single coach back from even the 2019 season. The only addition that they had was adding their defensive line coach, who's Freddie Roach, in place of Brian Baker. So this team has a lot of continuity from the coaching standpoint. And I think this game goes back on leadership. Who are the leaders on this team on both sides of the football? I think on the offensive side, it's Landon Dickerson, it's Mac Jones. And on the defensive side, it's Dylan Moses, Patrick Surtain. So the leadership is there, and you have the home field factor. I know it's not going to be roaring, but you're still playing in your backyard, and it's also senior day. So a lot to play for, even without Nick Saban on the sideline. These guys want to go and show that the Bama factor exists, whether Nick Saban is there or not.
He's Kyle Henderson. I'm Mick Gillespie. This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Kyle, you nailed this, man. You give us these nuggets. You're hot on these nuggets. You seem to have the pulse of what's going on around the campus and the University of Alabama. You said weeks ago that Alabama and LSU would make up their football game that was postponed on. And for those of you that are writing on YouTube, man, thank you guys. Jonathan Hurst, I will have a drink for you. All right, but first, Kyle, I know I just got to smile at Kyle. You were right. Alabama and LSU officially announced today they're going to play on November 5th. So that's next Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that we kind of had the pulse on. Like you said, even up to last week, I know there's a lot of people out there talking about the announcement today, but that was something that you're going to get at BamaInsider.com. Been able to, talk with some sources, and felt that game was, really never out of question. It was just figuring out when they were going to put that game kind of schedule wise, and December 5th. Made sense for Alabama and LSU. And then you push back that game against Arkansas. And then following that on December 19th will be the SEC championship. I think a lot of people have different opinions about Greg Sankey. I don't really have one, but I think one positive thing that he did this year was allow a couple weeks there for scheduling changes. And that's something that other conferences haven't been as successful at, right? You look at the Big Ten, their games are just straight up canceled. Whereas in the SEC, you've seen some mixing and matching, and overall it's allowed these games to continue. And now you have Alabama and LSU on December 5th, and talk about another redemption game, and talk about another emotional game back to back. I mean, you take on Auburn, biggest rival. Then right after that, you take on another one in LSU, and that game will be down in Baton Rouge. Alabama has been very successful down in Louisiana, dating back to the last 5 times that they've been there, including the BCS title when they did beat LSU for the national championship. So Alabama's playing at a very high level, but of course, it all focuses around the Iron Bowl right now.
All right, let's talk about Mac Jones and the football game that'll take place tomorrow, the Iron Bowl. What does this game mean to the Mac attack?
I think it means so much. I mean, you look at the way that last year's game ended for Mac Jones, 2 interceptions that were both returned for a touchdown. So if anybody wants this game more than Mac Jones, I don't know who it is, because this guy, the way that he's transition from last year to this year has been phenomenal. I think a lot of that goes back to Steve Sarkisian and that offense, but we've seen so much growth from Mac Jones, and getting to get another opportunity to go against Kevin Steele's defense for the Auburn Tigers, I think is going to present a lot of challenges for Alabama, but I think that the Crimson Tide will be able to handle those challenges. And now, no, there's no Jalen Waddle, but I think there's other guys, Devontae Smith, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a heavy dose of Najee Harris. Najee Harris is, in my opinion, the best back in college football. So Mac Jones is coming in with a full head of steam, and I think he has another opportunity to continue to increase his chances for a Heisman Trophy.
My question to you is there a more important player than Najee tomorrow against Auburn for Alabama?
I don't think so. I mean, I think maybe Mac Jones, and then A1 is Najee Harris. And I think the reason is Najee Harris makes Alabama's offense very balanced. And a lot of programs don't have that. There's one dimensional. And I think with Alabama's offensive line being so dominant this season, I think that Najee Harris, if Alabama has to go ground heavy, that could be the key to success in a game like this. You look at the way that Najee Harris played towards the back end of last season. He was entire beast mode. And this year, he leads the entire country in touchdowns with 16 touchdowns. So, yes, the talk is on Mac Jones. The talk is on the offensive line, but Najee Harris plays a pivotal role on this team. Everybody saw the great interview this week. Najee Harris against Auburn is 1-2. He didn't even know that. So these guys, cool, calm, collected, ready to go. But heavy dose of Najee would be expected. And I think if they need him to be the bell cow, he can certainly do that. And Steve Sarkisian said this, and I'll never forget it. During his first press conference, he said that his offensive philosophy starts with the run, which opens the pass. And I think that means that Najee Harris is going to get his chance to do some work against Auburn.
The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is brought to you by Pearl River Resort and Casino at Choctaw. Now is a great time to make your picks count at the Timeout Sports Lounge and Sportsbook. Gus Malzahn brings Auburn to Tuscaloosa. They're a little banged up. Tank Bigsby, he's got a bruised hip. The Tigers, though, they're always dangerous. They're coming off of a 31-17 win over UT last week. Jay Tate from Auburn Sports going to help us break down this matchup. When we come back, the Bama Insider Tailgate Show will return right after this.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Genesis of Tuscaloosa, Alabama's first Genesis dealer, is a proud sponsor of Crimson Tide football and pleased to announce another first, the all-new 2021 GV80, the newest luxury SUV from Genesis, arriving soon. Be first to call and reserve your spot to experience the new standard of luxury in Tuscaloosa, the all-new 2021 Genesis GV80. See our full luxury lineup at Genesis of Tuscaloosa, the corner of Skyland and Hargrove, genesisoftuscaloosa.com.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, football is fine art. Now at newlifeart.com, see Daniel A. Moore's new 2021 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar, featuring 13 dynamic images of defining moments from the Saban era. As a special offer to listeners of this show, use coupon code ROLLTIDE for $5 off each calendar. To order yours, call 1-800-735-2787 or visit newlifeart.com today.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
Bama Buggies, proud to support the Crimson Tide, always a superstar lineup. And what a lineup at Bama Buggies, one of Alabama's largest volume power sports dealers, featuring the brands you love: Polaris, Sea-Doo, Slingshot, $54.99. All the fun you can stand, starting at just $54.99. The best seats in the outdoors on sale now. Bama Buggies on Skyland Boulevard East, BamaBuggies.com. Price plus tax. Discount off MSRP includes all manufacturer incentives, dealer discounts, and freight while supplies last. See dealer for details. Expires in a month.
Get in on the action at Pearl River Resort. New members get $50 of free play on us. Or if you haven't played with us since 2018, we're inviting you to come back and play. $50 on us. See Players Club for details.
Where's our sports fans? Place your bets now at the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. From the first pitch to the final down, the toss-up to the knockout, and everything in between, we'll keep you in action all season long. Play, win, repeat. Only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casino's Pearl River Resort properties.
The Floribama Beach Bar is open at full capacity with no COVID restrictions. It's time to slip on back to Orange Beach for multiple stages of live music daily, free bingo Monday through Friday, and football watching all season long on tons of TVs. There's never been a better time to enjoy sunsets from the beachfront bars with a famous bushwhacker. Floribama is one of the top beach bars in the world, and under Florida guidelines has no COVID restrictions. Planning on a bachelor or bachelorette party? Then come do it on the line. Find out more at florbama.com.
It's time to get back to the great outdoors, to making memories, to feeling like yourself again. The world may have slowed down, but here in Sevierville, Tennessee, we know that just means there's more time to enjoy it all. It's time to get back to the Smoky Mountains. And when getting there brings you back, you know you're in Sevierville, Tennessee. Your Smokies start here. Learn more about traveling safely at visitsevierville.com.
This game story segment is brought to you by Yuengling Lager. Alabama and Auburn meet again in the annual Iron Bowl. Jay Tate from AuburnSports.com. That's Alabama, their arch rival, Auburn's rival site, and he's going to join the show. But before we go to that interview, let me tell you this. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is brought to you by Yuengling Lager. Yuengling is a sixth-generation company, and Cheryl Yuengling, who's part of the company's ownership, is a proud Alabama grad. There's a little crimson love in each one of those green bottles. Also, try the new Hershey's Chocolate Porter. It's so good. Later on in the show, we actually do what they call a peanut butter bomb. The Hershey's Chocolate Porter with Screwball peanut butter whiskey shot, which is really cool that you can mix those two together. As we talk to you from Innisfree here in Tuscaloosa, Screwball is our presenting sponsor. I'm Mick Gillespie with Kyle Henderson, and we had a chance to catch up with Jay Tate from Auburn Sports, and here's what Jay had to say about the Iron Bowl. Today's game story segment is brought to you by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. As we meet again in the annual Iron Bowl game, the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Auburn Tigers, we bring on Jay Tate from AuburnSports.com. That's the Auburn Rivals site. He's going to help us talk about this matchup. But before we get there, let me remind you guys that this is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. It's brought to you by Yuengling Lager. Cheryl Yuengling, a sixth-generation
all that good to start with, so that's going to be a serious concern going against a defense as good and is full of talent as Alabama's.
He's Jay Tate from AuburnSports.com. That's the Auburn rival site with Kyle Henderson. I'm Mick Gillespie. This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, getting you set for the Iron Bowl. Jay, give us the story on this year's Auburn team. I see them. They some weeks they look really good. They lost to South Carolina. You know, they absolutely dismantled LSU. It's a team to me that is kind of hard to handicap.
Yeah, they're a little confusing. I mean, you're right about that. So they had a new offensive coordinator. It's a big deal because Gus has been calling his own plays for a while, and I think he's deserved a lot of the criticism that he's gotten as a play caller. And Chad Morris comes in. He was the head coach at Arkansas last year, and he didn't have any spring. I mean, nobody had spring, and he had a hard time understanding what his guys could and couldn't do. It took him a little bit longer than I expected, maybe a lot of other people expected. And so just now, I'd say in the last 3 games, they've kind of gotten in a rhythm of knowing what they can do, how they can perform, who's reliable, who's not. And I think they're playing at a higher level. That South Carolina game was such a weird one because I thought the play calling was really good and the execution was pretty good. They just had 3 interceptions, 2 of them on the quarterback, 1 of them on a bad route, and all 3 of them set up South Carolina touchdowns. So, yes, you can't make mistakes like that. And they did, and they paid for it. But I honestly believe Auburn was the better team right now, and I think the Iron Bowl should be a 1-loss Auburn team. But the bottom line is they've lost 2, and yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. They're not Alabama, but they're pretty good.
Yeah, you know what? I keep paying attention to Auburn. I mean, look, we're in the same state, and this is, I think, the biggest rivalry. This game means more than any other game in college football. People can try to throw in Michigan and Ohio State. I don't remember the last time that game meant anything. I mean, the one team wins every time. What Gus Malzahn has been able to do is he's the one Achilles heel for Nick Saban, if you want to call it that. But 3-4 record against Nick Saban, who I think we'd all agree is the greatest coach of our time, right? And Auburn seems to find a way to not only beat Alabama, but then that propels them to get to the SEC championship or the national championship game. But then it's, for whatever reason, I guess it's losses to teams like South Carolina that always seem to have Gus on the hot seat. Is he on the hot seat right now?
I think he's going to be perpetually on the hot seat unless he gets in the playoffs at some point. There's a group of people, a vocal group of people here who have money, who have influence, that don't like him and they don't think he's the right guy for Auburn. So I think it's always going to be a hot seat situation for him at Auburn. I mean, these 8-win seasons, 9-win seasons are never going to be enough to cool that down. I mean, if he breaks through and has a really big year, yeah, probably for a year or two, but he ain't having it right now. I mean, 5-2, and you got to go to Alabama, so probably 5-3, and now you're kind of in a middling situation. So it's going to be just like it always is. He wins enough, and then he loses too many. If that makes sense.
Right. Who would they bring in if it wasn't him? I mean, is there any chance that they would go after a Hugh Freeze who beat Alabama twice? And I guess for Auburn, the issue for Gus isn't beating Alabama; it's winning those other games that you're supposed to win that he doesn't win.
He has a lot of trouble with LSU, and then, like you mentioned, he's always got a stinger. The South Carolina game this year, Tennessee a couple of years ago. He just finds a way to kind of lay one down there, usually in October, and just turns it out. I don't know what else to tell you, and that's why Auburn people get so frustrated with him. Our folks at auburnsports.com get really upset with the constant, every third or fourth game just laying an egg. It's confusing to me. I don't really understand it. I've tried to diagnose it, and I just don't think there's a good answer. But they've got a good defense. They're a little undermanned up front. They get worn down because their top guys, they got to play 50, 60 snaps. The second team guys, particularly their tackles, are not great. And so that's their problem on defense. But in general, they're fine over there. It's just kind of on offense. The linemen aren't quite there. The tackles aren't quite there. They're good on the skill end. But, I mean, to me, it's just kind of your regular Gus Malzahn team. And listen, man, Auburn doesn't beat Saban and Tuscaloosa without some kind of magic. I've only seen it happen once myself. And that was with Cam Newton, who's put together probably the greatest single season in the history of college football. So we can talk about how Malzahn's had success against Saban, and you're absolutely correct on that, but not usually in Tuscaloosa.
Right, and it's been a tough place to play. I mean, I go back to when this game used to be in Birmingham and going to Legion Field to watch it. It's obviously a lot different now. And I wonder to myself, is this really even a bowl game? I mean, it used to be. I mean, I remember being there in '96, my first ever college football game, and there were like maybe 10, 15 Alabama people on the Auburn side, and there were like 10 or 15 Auburn people on the Alabama side. I mean, that thing was split right down the middle, and it was just a totally different atmosphere than anything else. Maybe Oklahoma and Texas, out there in Dallas, but. With that said, this game always seems to mean so much. What's it going to take for Auburn to have success and win on Saturday?
That's a good question. I think it's going to take an injury to Najee Harris. I mean, he's just too good. He's too powerful. I think Alabama's offensive line is superb, and I think they can. And I mean, Mac Jones has had a great season too with a bunch of great skill receivers. The thing is, Alabama can do both things right now, and I think this is a great Alabama offense. If they want to grind you, they can grind you. If they want to go to the air, they can go to the air. If I was Nick Saban, I would try to grind Auburn. I think maybe you have a hard time in the first quarter, but as soon as those first team guys wear down, Alabama's offensive linemen are going to start to take control against that Auburn defensive front. And I think it's just going to be game on for Najee Harris and whoever else wants to carry the football and give him a break every now and then. From an Auburn perspective, you've got to be perfect, no turnovers. You got to have some special things happen. You've got to have like a pick six, which they had 2 last year. And you've just got to have like a fumble that you can return deep and make it easy, get a short field. But Alabama doesn't do that very often. And so you just got to be as opportunistic as you can possibly be. I just don't see any – if Alabama doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and typically Alabama doesn't, I don't see any way this game stays particularly close.
Yeah, and that's what Vegas is feeling too. There's a 24, 25-point spread, which seems
huge,
high to me. But, Alabama's offense this year is might be better than last year, which I
think it is.
It's hard to believe. I guess it's mostly because the offensive line has gotten so good.
So good, man. So all those dudes, man, are so good.
Yeah.
They do a heck of a job at Alabama just getting kids in there. And I think that's part of the magic. I mean, Saban's a great developer of talent. He has a great eye for talent too, but they get the kids, man. That's the key.
Yeah, no doubt. And let's talk about that recruiting. Jay Tate from Auburn Sports. That's the Auburn rival site. With Kyle Henderson, I'm Mick Gillespie. This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Any recruiting battles that you're keeping an eye on this Saturday? And between Alabama and Auburn, maybe even not this Saturday, but before signing day?
It seems like, 15 years ago, this stuff would always come down to like the winter time, and the Iron Bowl would have a big, influence on that. But it seems like things get wrapped up so early. I mean, Alabama's got a ton of commitments. Auburn's got a ton of commitments. I mean, I guess Kool-Aid McKinstry is a guy that Auburn would love to have, but he's committed to Alabama now, so I don't really look at that as being a big showdown or anything. I'm not really seeing anything between Auburn and Alabama specifically.
All right, great to talk with Jay Tate from Auburn Sports. This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. It's presented by Tuscaloosa Hyundai, the Elantra, the Sonata, or an SUV like the Tucson. Tailgating does not get any better. And I want to tell you guys this right here. Kyle, as I hang out with you right now, I got Kyle just a beautiful Daniel Moore print of Tua coming his way. You guys right now, the ones that swing out here to Innisfree on the Strip, I got a handful of these 2021 calendars. We're all waiting for 2021. This is paintings of the Saban era from 2007 to 2020. Got some really cool Daniel Moore prints for each month, and we got some of those to give away. You can also get them on the website right now at newlifeart.com. So for Kyle Henderson, I'm Mick Gillespie. When we come back, we're going to get into more of this Alabama-Auburn Iron Bowl matchup, but we're going to talk some recruiting with our main man, Andrew Bone. Don't go anywhere. More of the Bama Insider Tailgate Show is coming up.
Introducing Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Now available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Genesis of Tuscaloosa, Alabama's first Genesis dealer, is a proud sponsor of Crimson Tide football and pleased to announce another first, the all-new 2021 GV80, the newest luxury SUV from Genesis, arriving soon. Be first to call and reserve your spot to experience the new standard of luxury in Tuscaloosa, the all-new 2021 Genesis GV80. See our full luxury lineup at Genesis of Tuscaloosa, the corner of Skyland and Hargrove, genesisoftuscaloosa.com.
R&R Cigars invites you to come down to the Cigar Mansion. Located in the historic Maxwell Mansion downtown, over 1,000 cigars and over 100 bourbons await you. The Cigar Mansion is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar, bourbon, and then watch the tide roll. Tell them the Bama Insider Tailgate Show sent you, and you'll get a cigar and an Angel's Envy bourbon for $10. You can't find a better place to relax and watch the game than the Cigar Mansion R&R Cigars. R&R Cigars, 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, by the Home 2 Suites.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines two of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavor. 35% alcohol by volume.
Bama Buggies, proud to support the Crimson Tide. Always a superstar lineup. And what a lineup at Bama Buggies, one of Alabama's largest volume power sports dealers, featuring the brands you love: Polaris, Sea-Doo, Slingshot. $54.99. All the fun you can stand, starting at just $54.99. The best seats in the outdoors on sale now. Bama Buggies on Skyland Boulevard East. BamaBuggies.com. Price plus tax. Discount off MSRP includes all manufacturer incentives, dealer discounts, and freight while supplies last. See dealer for details. Expires in a month.
Get in on the action at Pearl River Resort. New members get $50 of free play on us. Or if you haven't played with us since 2018, we're inviting you to come back and play. $50 on us. See Players Club for details.
Where's our sports fans? Place your bets now at the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. From the first pitch to the final down, the toss-up to the knockout, and everything in between, we'll keep you in action all season long. Play, win, repeat. Only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casino's Pearl River Resort properties.
Hey fam, this is Kyle Henderson with BamaInsider.com, reminding you to join Mick Gillespie and me right after the game on the Bama Insider YouTube channel for the Bama Insider postgame show. We'll break down the game with instant analysis, have Nick Saban's press conference, and take your calls and comments. That's the Bama Insider postgame show right after Alabama plays on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. See you there. Please join us tonight for the Bama Insider postgame show on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Roll Tide, roll.
This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. It's brought to you by Bama Buggies. Bama Buggies is a touchdown for anyone looking for an ATV, a Sea-Doo, a motorcycle, side-by-side. Hunting season is almost here, and Bama Buggies has you covered. Find out for yourself at BamaBuggies.com. We got Mr. Bama Buggies coming on later in the show, and Barry Buckner, he's the owner, and they just won a prestigious award. So I'm pretty excited. He's going to help us pick games tonight here at Innisfree on the Strip. Brought to you by Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Our final home remote this year, the Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn. With Kyle Henderson, managing editor of BamaInsider.com, the Rivals Alabama site. I'm Mick Gillespie. It's great to bring on Andrew Bone. He's our recruiting expert at Bama Insider. Bone, what's up, dude?
What's up, guys? How we doing tonight?
I'm doing great. There's a guy named Trip Rogers that's looking for you. He thought you were going to be here in person. That's not the case, and so if I was you, I'd be worried next time you come here. He thought you were going to be here. He wanted to see you.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to see him too. I know he's not happy with me right now, but hopefully he'll get over it.
I think he'll be all right. All right, Bone, let's talk about what we got going on, Alabama and Auburn. Not only is it a big game on the field, but these two teams battle for a lot of great players. Alabama has a 15-10 advantage with the top 5 players in the state since Gus Malzahn's been the head coach. So that's since 2013. What battles right now still remain between Alabama and Auburn? And is there any potential that someone that committed to one of these schools might flip before they sign?
Yeah, not really too many recruiting battles left between Alabama and Auburn in this recruiting cycle. Most of Alabama's remaining battles are against schools like Georgia, Florida, Texas A&M, but not too many against Auburn right now. We've seen several throughout the entire recruiting process thus far. Some of the top players in the state of Alabama committing to Alabama over Auburn, including the number 1 player in the state, JaQuincy McKinstry, Kool-Aid. Out of Penzance Valley High School, who committed earlier this year. And, you also had, 2 in-state linebackers who were both heavily recruited by the Crimson Tide and the Auburn Tigers, and that's Deontay Lawson and Ian Jackson, both in-state prospects that were heavily recruited and rank in the top 5 players in the state of Alabama. Now, there's a couple, really good players who are committed to Auburn, including Armani Goodwin, who's a 4-star running back, top 100 running back from Hewitt Trussville and he's certainly one of the top backs in the country. Actually got offered by Alabama after he committed to Auburn. So, somebody that Alabama kind of got on a little bit late, but we've seen some very intense recruiting battles throughout the entire year. One out-of-state kid who committed to Alabama over Auburn is Christian Leary, the 4-star wide receiver out of the Tampa area. So, that was somebody that both the in-state programs were fighting for out of state for a while, and Alabama ended up winning that recruiting battle.
Hey, Bone, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us on the show. And, this particular weekend, it's the Iron Bowl. When we talked about during our recruiting show that there's a couple guys that will be in town in Tuscaloosa, checking out the game, checking out the atmosphere. One particular guy that everybody should be very interested in, Xavier Worthy, who's committed to Michigan right now. Kind of what's the latest on that, and what are you expecting? And then also kind of chime in on Terrion Arnold, who you talked to this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, with the COVID-19 outbreak, throughout the country, the NCAA extended the recruiting dead period. They kept extending it, and now it's extended all the way until April the 15th. So a lot of recruits aren't able to take official visits this fall. So what we've seen a lot of them do, we've seen a lot of them, go to games. Can't really talk to the coaching staffs, but can go to games, walk around the campus, and see everything. And that's what we're seeing a lot of recruits do during this recruiting cycle. This very unique recruiting cycle that we've had, and we're going to see a few prospects from outside of the state in Tuscaloosa this weekend, which probably should excite Alabama fans and Alabama coaches. And one in particular is Xavier Worthy, Rivals 100 wide receiver out of California, the Fresno area, and he's been committed to Michigan since about mid-July. But has still been heavily pursued by Alabama, and he's going to be making his first ever visit to Alabama this weekend. So very big to get Xavier Worthy on campus. Another prospect that's coming into town is Tumise Adelier, 5-star defensive end out of Houston, Texas. Now, he had transferred to IMG Academy back in the spring, left IMG Academy when COVID-19 kind of shut down the country. Now he's back in the Houston area. But not playing his senior year, so he's kind of sitting out. But he's a 5-star defensive end who's going to be on campus this weekend. It's his first trip back to Tuscaloosa since last football season when Alabama played LSU. So big to get him back on campus with the top 3 of Alabama, Texas A&M, and Florida. But it's a decision probably coming sometime next month. So we'll be keeping a pretty close eye on him. And, you also mentioned Terrion Arnold. One of the best defensive backs in the country out of Tallahassee. Now, we reported earlier this week that he was planning on visiting Alabama this weekend, but he had a basketball game that got rescheduled to Saturday. So as of right now, doesn't look like he's going to make it. He still may try to come, may end up skipping his basketball game. It's something we're kind of keeping a close eye on. But as of right now, it doesn't look like Terrion's going to make it. But another guy that we are watching pretty closely is Xavier Sorry, 4-star linebacker out of IMG Academy. He's going to be in Tuscaloosa, or expected to be in Tuscaloosa this weekend. We probably won't know, really until after the fact. But as of right now, we're thinking he's going to be in town as well.
Andrew Bone with Kyle Henderson and me, Mick Gillespie. This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, talking to you from Innisfree on the Strip in Tuscaloosa, getting you set for the Iron Bowl. Last question for you, Bone, and this comes from our good buddy Colin. He wants to know, when scholarship players enter the transfer portal, does Alabama get that scholarship back for recruiting?
Well, not necessarily. They end up getting it back countered. I mean, it really just kind of goes back to the 85 limit. They start going after some graduate transfers, so it really just kind of goes back to that 85 overall limit.
All right, Bone. Well, appreciate it, man. Have a great holiday weekend, and we'll talk to you next week when Alabama plays LSU.
Sounds great, guys. Have a good one.
That's Andrew Bone, man, best in the business. Hey, let me remind you guys that next week when Alabama does play LSU, I'll be down doing it on the line at the Flora-Bama. Yep, we'll be there for LSU and Arkansas, and Alabama and LSU are set to play next Saturday, which is great because we get to see maybe the best rivalry right now going in the SEC. They got live music daily on three stages. Oysters are fresh and available. It's open from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. Free bingo Monday through Friday, 1 to 4. Come get your bushwhackers. Just don't do it if you got to work. And there's tons of TV for football watching. FloraBama.com or on Facebook down there in Orange Beach, Alabama. That's where we're going to be for the next two games. Come catch us if you live down there in L.A. Not in California, lower Alabama. When we come back, we're going to talk with Trip Rogers. We got a screwball shot in a Yuengling Hershey's Porter. It's going to be a lot of fun. Then we're going to talk about Alabama Auburn. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show rolls on. We'll be back after this.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yuengling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Genesis of Tuscaloosa, Alabama's first Genesis dealer, is a proud sponsor of Crimson Tide football and pleased to announce another first, the all-new 2021 GV80, the newest luxury SUV from Genesis, arriving soon. Be first to call and reserve your spot to experience the new standard of luxury in Tuscaloosa, the all-new 2021 Genesis GV80. See our full luxury lineup at Genesis of Tuscaloosa, the corner of Skyland and Hargrove, genesisoftuscaloosa.com.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide. Switching your job is stressful. Switching your schools is painful, but switching your insurance to Allstate, it really couldn't be easier. At Allstate, you call one local agent who can assist you with all your policies and make your paperwork simple. Here in Tuscaloosa and Northport, Allstate agent Andrew Knifer can help you protect everything from your home, car, boat, motorcycle, or even RV, ATV, and snowmobile. Stop by Andrew Knifer's office today at 4705 McFarland Boulevard. Are you in good hands? Prices vary based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Bama Buggies, proud to support the Crimson Tide, always a superstar lineup. And what a lineup at Bama Buggies, one of Alabama's largest volume power sports dealers featuring the brands you love. Polaris, Sea-Doo, Slingshot, $54.99. All the fun you can stand starting at just $54.99. The best seats in the outdoors on sale now. Bama Buggies on Skyland Boulevard East, BamaBuggies.com. Price plus tax. Discount off MSRP includes all manufacturer incentives, dealer discounts, and freight while supplies last. See dealer for details. Expires in a month.
Get in on the action at Pearl River Resort. New members get $50 of free play on us. Or if you haven't played with us since 2018, we're inviting you to come back and play. $50 on us. See Players Club for details.
Where's our sports fans? Place your bets now at the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. From the first pitch to the final down, the toss-up to the knockout, and everything in between, we'll keep you in action all season long. Play, win, repeat. Only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casino's Pearl River Resort properties.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines two of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
All right, what do you say, everybody? This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show with Kyle Henderson, my tag team partner. I'm Mick Gillespie, as we talk to you live from Innisfree on the Strip, getting ready for the Iron Bowl game. Kyle, I've got Trip Rogers here with me. We hung out yesterday. We actually had this segment recorded, except somehow I messed it up.
Mick messed up the volume. He messed up the volume.
Hey, man, it's all good, man. What's up, Trip? Glad.
Good. How you doing, Kyle?
Thanks for having us, man. It's
always. It's Iron Bowl weekend.
That's what I'm saying. There's so much to be thankful for. And we got what we have right now is you guys are about to do a play-by-play. So I can't wait to see how this goes down.
Now, look, what's great is that this remote is brought to you by our friends at Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, right? And the show's brought to you by Yingling Lager. So, I'm talking to the people at Screwball, and they said, hey, if you can get your hands on the Hershey's chocolate porter, which, by the way, I did, and they said if you drop the, Irish car bomb style, right?
Irish car bomb style.
FYI, if you ever go to Ireland, don't ask for an Irish car bomb. A friend of mine wanted to give that, pro tip out. They don't like that. But that style, which basically is like Guinness Stout and Bailey's, right?
Yep.
You drop
Jameson whiskey.
Jameson whiskey and boom, in there, and then drink it. So that's what we did. So last night we got together and we did this. I thought it was pretty good.
It was fantastic.
So Kyle's going to play the video. I'm a professional play-by-play guy. You're my color guy. Let's go. This is how you make up for the fumble that I made. We can watch this video and kind of give everybody the play-by-play of what's going on. So here we are.
There's Steve making the shots.
And if anyone, I do a beer review show.
It looks like a perfect pour to me.
And
it looks like a perfect pour.
Kyle, what I want to tell you is I do a beer review show, and Tripp told me, he's like, hey, I said, I need a couple of those glasses. You told me take a case of them.
You can have. We've got. Luckily, this is our 23rd year in Tuscaloosa. We're hoping I can use these glasses in Birmingham when Birmingham turns 20 next year in 2022.
Okay, so these are the special Innisfree Irish Pub anniversary glasses, and that's the Hershey's Chocolate Porter, which is, I think it's one of the best beers of 2020.
It was surprisingly good. I've never had chocolate in a beer before, but I'm not going to lie, it was pretty good.
You were a little skeptical.
I was very skeptical.
Smuggled those in here.
I've drank a few beers in my lifetime here at Innisfree, and that was actually surprisingly good.
So for those of you that are listening right now on Jocks 2, what you're seeing is all these pint glasses lined up and the Hershey's Chocolate
There goes
Porter.
the Screwball. Oh, he ran out a little bit. That's kind of a fumble on the bartender's part right there.
We got the pint glasses lined up, and then we got the shots being poured behind it. This would be great for a tailgate too. This is a great
100%.
You do your
probably be better using plastic at a tailgate because nobody wants to break any glass at a tailgate party.
Right, but you got plenty of these 20 anniversary.
We have
glasses.
a lot,
and we got the Screwball. And I'm showing them on the camera right now. The Screwball shot glasses, which are being given out right now as part of this, this event, this Screwball event, So we've given those out. We've given some stickers out. We've given some T-shirt out. We call that swag in the business.
It is called swag, yes.
I bet you've got some cool swag.
We have a lot of swag in it. It's free if anybody wants any.
All right, so as we watch the video right now, for those of you on YouTube, you see this as well.
So there he is. Now he's chilling. The shots.
And what is that? It's a shaker.
It's a shaker with ice in it. So he's chilling the shot to make it easier as you drink it. Nobody likes hot shots unless it's tequila.
Right. and you were such a gracious host that you found some people next to us that just so happened to want some shots too.
We did. We found a couple people next to us, and they were very obliged. They were very happy that they got to try it out with us.
Kyle wants you to come to his next Friendsgiving party. He had one of those over in the Towns, and he had peanut butter whiskey.
I don't know. The Towns is a little crazy. I think it's a little calmer downtown than it is in the Towns these days.
That's how Kyle rolls over there. All right, so now he's distributing the shot and the half glass of beer.
If Mick would have gone a widescreen photo on this, it would have been a little bit better with this video, but we'll teach him how to use video on his phone.
I know, I'm learning right now. Kyle, I messed this whole thing up, but we're looking at it right now. And this was the most surprising part of the whole shot. You dropped the entire shot glass into the pint glass with the half.
There are willing participants right there in the background.
You drop it in there, and then you look at you. That's a pro right there. The way that you dropped it in and drank it, I did the same thing. Some people didn't finish all theirs, but you did.
I know the video quality isn't up to par, but we'll work on that.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about this football game. I love coming in here for Alabama games. You've played like 50 different Iron Bowls in the last 2 days that I've been here.
Yeah, and you know what's awesome? Alabama is undefeated in 23 years at Innisfree.
You got to like that, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at this game overall, I mean, the play should be popping tomorrow with Alabama being what I think a 23-point favorite going into this one. I mean, it's I know the biggest storyline, Saban's not there, but I mean, it should be a great day in Innisfree.
I think from what I hear, our guys they're still a little unhappy about last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was down there, and it was the first one I'd been to since the Kick Six game, which we don't ever talk about. But our guys, the guys that came back, they came back, I think, for this weekend. And they want it. And that's what's going to make it special tomorrow. And it's going to be fun. I know it's raining tonight. It's coming through tonight. Tomorrow's going to be sunny. It's going to be perfect weather. It's going to be in the 60s. Like their classic November football game on Thanksgiving weekend, the Iron Bowl. Like you can't paint a better picture. Auburn came up and infected Coach with COVID. I don't know how they did it. I guess it's a payback for the trees. I get it all, but Coach Sark is going to take us tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I think that's hilarious. They sent over a dirty tissue or something like that. Who knows? But you know, like you guys are saying, I mean, it's going to be a beautiful day, and Sarkisian's certainly going to lead this team. No problem. No doubt in my mind that he's the right man for the job on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this trip, and you jump in, but I mean, if you're going to replace a guy like Nick Saban with short notice, Steve Sarkisian's been there, done that.
Yeah, and as much as like I'm sure a lot of the Alabama fan base doesn't want to hear, I think tomorrow's game for Coach Sark is going to determine where he might be a head coach next year. So it's an important game for him. It's an important game for everybody, and it's going to be fun.
You got bars in Tuscaloosa and Birmingham, and Innisfree's in both places, and you've been doing this for a while. I mean, I remember going to the Innisfree that was downtown.
Yep.
What's the secret to success? You took 23 years. You guys have been going.
Apparently not hair products because they didn't work for me. So, but no, we've had a lot of luck. We've had great customers and we have great employees. And anyone that ever asked me, I'm like, it all starts with who's running everything. As much as I want to say I run a lot of things, our employees do the greatest job of anyone I know. We have a great people, and it's awesome. And they make me smile, and that's the most important thing.
Right. I mean, you got to have fun when you're doing this.
100%. This business, you don't get in to retire. You get in it to make sure everyone that comes in here has a good time, and that's what makes me smile.
All right, your favorite Iron Bowl?
There's been a lot of them. One of the best ones, I will have to say, was in Legion Field, and we were sitting right on the goal line, and I was sitting with my dad. It was Coach Stallings' last Iron Bowl, and we drove down the field with Freddie Kitchens, and we scored, and it was awesome. It really was, and I've been to other games with my dad, but that was like our first awesome game together, and they keep coming down. Unfortunately, they can't come down this year. Apparently, they've gotten older than I have, and so they've got to stay in Washington D.C. So, but they'll be watching.
Yeah, that was my first game, Alabama game.
Really? What?
Yeah.
Nice.
Dennis,
it was a good one.
Oh man, I mean, like it's life changing.
It is.
I thought the upper deck was going to cave in.
In Legion Field, you never know.
I tell Kyle that. Look, let's talk about a couple of guys that we have in common that we lost. First off, it was really sad that Rowdy Harrell passed away.
Yeah.
You know, he was a walk-on at Alabama. I have never met Rowdy. You knew him. He was friends with my family, so I heard a lot about him over the years, and it was tragic. He just got married and then died in a car accident.
Yeah, he was a great kid. Used to come in here, super nice. You know, you never like to hear those stories, especially on weekends like this. And to read that story waking up in the morning, it's hard. But it's weird to say. I'm glad they were still both together. As hard as it is, they're still with each other in a different place right now. and they'll never be forgotten. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. One of the biggest honors I had as a student was when this restaurant called Fat Phillies, it used to be across from the BP on the Strip, where the little ticket place. They named one of the sandwiches the Gillespie after.
You're finally getting famous.
Finally, right? Well, one of the guys who owned it, Pat Weaver, he drowned this summer. We were both friends with Pat and Candace and the family. It's like one of those things, like it's just kind of hard. It's still sinking in for me. You know?
He was he's one of the old school Innisfree guys.
Yeah.
And he was there when we first started. And that's another special part of a lot of things. Luckily that we've been open this long that we can talk about the people that were there when we first started, and they were with us all the way through. And it's another loss this year that no one likes to have, no one likes to talk about. But it's part of life, unfortunately.
Yeah. And the last guy we have to have I told you this yesterday. I was a KA at Alabama. The one guy I'll never forget was this guy named Zach White. I remember the exact moment I met him, and unfortunately we lost Zach in what was it, January?
In the spring,
right?
yeah.
And I saw you at the funeral. He worked at both Innisfrees.
Yeah.
You told me he's the only guy you fired twice.
He's the only guy I fired twice. He's someone that means more to me than a lot of people will ever mean to me in my life. And he helped build the one in Birmingham. He helped build the one here. He put his blood, sweat, and tears in everything we did. Unfortunately, like everyone likes to have fun, and it is what it is, but he will always be a piece of my heart, and I think about him every day. He made everyone laugh.
Mm-hmm.
He had a special purpose, and Mick compares him to Chris Farley. I'm a little bit older than Mick, unfortunately. I compare him to John Belushi, but he was a great guy. He was a great guy.
Trip, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all coming in.
Hey, this has been so much fun, brother. I appreciate you having us, and Kyle does as well. Kyle, give us a little preview of what you got going on tomorrow, my man.
Well, tomorrow, depending on how many shots you've had, you got a call-in show early in the morning talking score predictions for Alabama and Auburn. So I might have to fill in on that depending on how your night goes. But of course, we got tons of coverage at BamaInsider.com, including the watch party with Trey Yanity. And then following the watch party is the after party right here on BamaInsider.com, which is the post-game show. I'll be taking the calls, talking Alabama and Auburn after the game right here on Bama Insider.
Hey, yeah, good. You bring up a good point, and I will be on there tomorrow. But also, don't forget the Mike Tyson fight is at R&R Cigars. They invite you to the Cigar Mansion downtown. They also just had a grand opening on their new cigar place over in Northport, right there by the Winn-Dixie. So swing over there, see Reagan tomorrow night. Tyson making his, I guess, his first fight appearance in years and years. I can't wait to be there and hang out. I invited you, Kyle, there to hang out with us. And, folks, before we end this first hour, I want to remind all of you, $75 right now. You get a year membership to Bama Insider, the Bama Insider website, and then you get a $75 gift card. So it's like you're basically going free to Nike. You get all the Nike gear and everything else. You can't pick up my Houndstooth Bear Bryant jacket, but you can get a lot of cool stuff there as well. All right, guys, that's 1 hour in the books. For Kyle Henderson, Trip Rogers, I'm Mick Gillespie. Stay tuned. Second hour of the Bama Insider Tailgate Show is coming up right after this.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Special purchase 70 Tucsons in Tuscaloosa starting at $19,989. First come, first served while they last. Tuscaloosa Hyundai has made a special purchase of new Tucsons starting at $19,989. All with our exclusive 1,000,000-mile warranty, no charge. Over 70 Tucsons in Tuscaloosa starting at $19,989.
It's why you drive home happy.
Exclusively at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
Switching your job is stressful. Switching your schools is painful. But switching your insurance to Allstate, it really couldn't be easier. At Allstate, you call one local agent who can assist you with all your policies and make your paperwork simple. Here in Tuscaloosa and Northport, Allstate agent Andrew Kniffer can help you protect everything from your home, car, boat, motorcycle, or even RV, ATV, and snowmobile. Stop by Andrew Kniffer's office today at 4705 McFarland Boulevard. Are you in good hands? Prices vary based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availabilities.
R&R Cigars invites you to come down to the Cigar Mansion. Located in the historic Maxwell Mansion downtown, over 1,000 cigars and over 100 bourbons await you. The Cigar Mansion is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar, bourbon, and then watch the tide roll. Tell them the BamaInsider Tailgate Show sent you, and you'll get a cigar and an Angel's Envy bourbon for $10. You can't find a better place to relax and watch the game than the Cigar Mansion R&R Cigars. R&R Cigars, 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, by the Home 2 Suites.
Bama Buggies, proud to support the Crimson Tide, always a superstar lineup. And what a lineup at Bama Buggies, one of Alabama's largest volume power sports dealers featuring the brands you love. Polaris, Sea-Doo, Slingshot, $54.99. All the fun you can stand starting at just $54.99. The best seats in the outdoors on sale now. Bama Buggies on Skyland Boulevard East, BamaBuggies.com. Price plus tax. Discount off MSRP includes all manufacturer incentives, dealer discounts, and freight while supplies last. See dealer for details. Expires in a month.
Get in on the action at Pearl River Resort. New members get $50 of free play on us. Or if you haven't played with us since 2018, we're inviting you to come back and play. $50 on us. See Players Club for details.
Where's our sports fans? Place your bets now at the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. From the first pitch to the final down, the toss-up to the knockout, and everything in between, we'll keep you in action all season long. Play, win, repeat. Only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casino's Pearl River Resort properties.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines two of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Experience the true spirit of Tuscaloosa at Hotel Indigo, downtown's first waterfront hotel overlooking the Black Warrior River. Hotel Indigo is perfectly located near a myriad of unique shops, restaurants, and the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. You rolling with the tide? Hotel Indigo is less than a mile from the University of Alabama. The Lookout Bar on the roof of Hotel Indigo is the best place in Tuscaloosa to enjoy great views, appetizers, and spirits with friends. Book Hotel Indigo now and enjoy the best of Tuscaloosa.
Thanks for joining us for the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. We're brought to you by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. Alabama takes on Auburn, Bryant-Denny Stadium, 2:30 on CBS. He's the managing editor of Bama Insider, Kyle Henderson. I'm Mick Gillespie. It's time for our Breaking Down the SEC segment. It is live from Innisfree and brought to you by Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Let me tell you guys, though, as you make your holiday plans or you're thinking about next year, one awesome place to visit, to go do your thing is Sevierville. Yeah, we were just up in Sevierville when Alabama played Tennessee. Sevierville is, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. They've got 4 different self-guided fall tours that will take you along the back roads and highlight all the historical points of interest and beautiful fall views. You can find maps, videos, and more. And make your plans now at sevierville.com/fall. It's just awesome. They've got, you're in the wild, so you naturally social distance during this time. You're in your own vehicle. You got Smoky Mountain Winterfest, which started on November 13th. That goes all the way through February 22nd. There are millions of lights along the Parkway in Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, all the way into Gatlinburg. Matter of fact, last year I spent New Year's in Gatlinburg. So it's a lot of fun. You got the Shadrack's Christmas Wonderland. That's where you drive through, and they got all the Christmas lights and everything else. And Wilderness at the Smokies is bringing back their outdoor ice rink again this year. So, again, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, as you make your plans. And that's where, like I said, my family's spent, holidays the last few years. Kyle Henderson, I'm Mick Gillespie. Let's talk about the first college football rankings, Kyle. They came out. We saw Notre Dame in action already. They beat North Carolina since those rankings came out. Bama's number 1, and then number 2 is Notre Dame. Your thoughts on those first rankings?
I mean, I think when you look at the college football rankings, excuse me, it was exactly as we thought, right? The first top 5. I mean, right now we got to see actually Notre Dame play on Friday night, and they beat North Carolina, so they're the number 2 team after Alabama, who's number 1. At the number 3 spot is Trevor Lawrence and the Clemson Tigers, and on Saturday it'll be his first game that he's played in 5 weeks, if you can believe that. So I know he's probably itching to play. The number 4 spot. You have Ohio State. So I think when you look at this, the top 4, I think, you couldn't really shake them out, any other way. Number 5, Texas A&M, their only loss is to Alabama, and then you have Florida following that. So there's still plenty of time in the college football rankings for things to change. Alabama, of course, has an opportunity to showcase their abilities on a national stage once again against Auburn on Saturday, where they're 24-point favorite. So I didn't see too much in the college football playoff rankings that I was too surprised by. I did appreciate that the college football committee put Oregon way down there just because they haven't really played anybody. I'm curious, to see where a team like Cincinnati finishes in those rankings, because it looks like they could potentially finish undefeated, which could cause the playoff committee some sort of a headache as you get down to the later stretch, depending on what happens. But right now, 1 through 5 look really good in the college football playoff rankings.
Those of you that are listening on Jocks 2, that's 100.5 Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, we appreciate it. A lot of you are watching on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. He's Kyle Henderson from the home studio. I'm here at Innisfree on the Strip. So there's a lot of people coming and going. But I got to say, Tobias gave us what we call in this business, Kyle, a super chat. He says, let's go Bama. How does Saban, not being at the game, motivate these guys? How does he do it, Kyle?
Well, I think it's simple. I mean, let's win this one for coach. I mean, even if he's not there, I mean, this is Nick Saban's program. It's just not Nick Saban. And I think he'll be able to really get those guys dialed in, whether he's coming in through Zoom real quick or through, just knowing that Saban, that you're winning this game for Saban. I think the assistant coaches have been prepped. I think these guys know exactly what to do. This is a very meticulous ran program from A to Z. Steve Sarkisian will have a great game plan going in. They're not going to have Saban for the halftime speech. They're not going to have him if somehow Alabama needs, the coach to really kind of rip into them. But it's an opportunity for some of these assistant coaches to step up. And when you look at Alabama's assistants, you have Steve Sarkisian, you have Charles Huff, who's a very underrated coach that we don't talk enough about on the defensive side. You have Pete Golding. You have Charles Kelly. You have Sal Sinceri, potentially Charlie Strong. I don't know if he's going to be the added coach onto the sidelines, but there's a lot of experience, of course, as there are any other programs, but no one does it bigger and better than the assistants in Alabama. That's why you continue to see this rotating door. So these guys are going to be ready to go, dialed in, and there's not much more needed motivation than just simply stepping on the field and beating your biggest rival in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I agree with you 100%. Outside chance to get into the college football playoff. Who has the best? Cincinnati, Texas A&M, or BYU, and why?
I mean, where's option? None of the above. I just don't kind of buy into these other programs. I just don't look at like their schedule. I mean, BYU, I know they were complaining recently that they'd say they will play anybody, wherever, whatever. And then they kind of dodged Washington. I didn't follow that whole storyline, but they only beat UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio, by 7 points. I mean, that just shouldn't be allowed. Cincinnati really hasn't played anybody with a pulse as well. I think the nightmare scenario could be if there's a team from the Pac-12 that does finish undefeated, there's a team from the Big Ten that finishes undefeated, and potentially, a team from the SEC loses a game there. You could have the ACC with 2 teams that have lost 1 game. So the playoffs is always very confusing because it's a committee of people that close the door and decide who makes the playoffs. I think it's ridiculous in my opinion, but as long as Alabama continues to win, they control their own destiny. And how the playoffs work, 1 versus 4, well, not necessarily, but the playoff games are in the Sugar Bowl or the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. But if Alabama was to win out, you got to think they're playing in the Sugar Bowl in that 1-4 matchup.
Yeah, my question was, too, does Notre Dame get back to Clemson undefeated and them beating North Carolina on Friday? I mean, that gets them one step closer to that matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we watched Notre Dame tonight, or Friday night rather, and I think Notre Dame, they're better than I anticipated. I mean, the quarterback does make some good plays. They kept on saying he's playing backyard football. He's a player who I think could present challenges because he does seem to have a lot of athletic ability. I do think, though, when Notre Dame and Clemson meet up, I think Trevor Lawrence will have his day, and I do see Clemson winning that game. I think there'd be a lot of money line on Clemson in that game, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But both those teams certainly playing at a high level as we move down the stretch, and I think it's a quality win beating North Carolina. North Carolina, I think over the last couple years under their new leadership, Mac Brown, have certainly done a good job. But I was impressed with their victory Friday night. I don't think are they a for real contender? Could they challenge Alabama? I guess we'll have to wait and see. I think they're a long way from that. But there's only so many good teams when you look at the college football rankings.
He's Kyle Henderson. I'm Mick Gillespie. This is the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. It's just one of many shows that we have for you on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. A lot of you guys that are listening right now on Jocks 2 100.5 Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, you need to get online through your phone, through your computer, through your smart TV, and check out all of the different stuff we got going on with our channel. We got so much content we're pushing out. And also, this show is available every Friday night as a podcast as well. Ohio State or Northwestern, should we be paying attention to the Wildcats?
Probably so. Their defense is pretty good. I think that, over the last couple of years, Northwestern has done a really good job on the defensive side of the ball. They came up with a big victory last week. Then again, Ohio State. What type of team is this? Because they just beat Indiana by, I believe, 7 points, and Justin Fields threw 3 interceptions in that particular game. Is Indiana really that good? I don't know. It's such a small sample size in the Big Ten. These teams are only played 4 games or whatever. So I think Ohio State will be standing at the end because I don't feel that the Big Ten is overwhelmingly strong, but I do think Northwestern has a good defense. So it'll be another challenge for Ohio State, but I think it'll provide another sample size, and that's what we need to see from this Ohio State team.
Well, we're trying to get closer to that college football playoff. Kyle, talk about the $75 deal right now with you and Bama Insider and BamaInsider.com.
Well, today is Black Friday, so there's no better time to go to BamaInsider.com and score a great deal. You get $75 to an annual subscription to BamaInsider.com. You can get behind that pesky paywall, and you get $75 gift card to Nike.com, so you can, get some Alabama Crimson Tide football gear that is licensed through Nike. You can also get some Converse gear if you want some new Converse shoes or whatever. So go to BamaInsider.com, top of the page, $75 promo, and definitely give us an opportunity for your business. Andrew Bone crushes it on the recruiting front in Alabama. Check this out. If you really want to celebrate, Alabama's number 1 in the AP poll, the coaches poll, the college football playoff rankings, and number 1 in the rivals.com recruiting rankings. So this team comes with it on all fronts. And of course, it's all because of the GOAT, but go to BamaInsider.com, take advantage of that promo.
I'm one of these guys that says winning doesn't get boring, but I also went to school when Alabama lost to Tennessee and other teams every week. All right, look at these Andrew Kniffer footballs right here. My man is an all-state agent in Northport. We're going to be throwing some of these out into the crowd here at Innisfree. And, this has been a really fun night. You would expect that. Pearl River Resort and the Timeout Sports Lounge in Philadelphia gives you a great place to play the odds. Coming up next, we're going to pick our games. We're going to hear from Leonard's Loser. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show continues with Lance from Lance's Lock. All that coming up, and we got our friend Barry Buckner who's going to join us to help make our picks. So hang around. We'll be right back. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show coming up.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
When it comes to protecting all your stuff, wouldn't it be great to have one place that protects it all? Here's some good news. Tuscaloosa and Northport Allstate agent Andrew Kniffer is the only insurance agent you need to help keep tabs on protection for all your stuff. Everything from your home, car, boat, to your motorcycle, RV, snowmobile, and even ATV. Stop by Allstate agent Andrew Kniffer's office today at 4705 McFarland Boulevard or give Andrew a call at 205-722-9201. Are you in good hands?
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, football is fine art. Now at newlifeart.com, see Daniel A. Moore's new 2021 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar, featuring 13 dynamic images of defining moments from the Saban era. As a special offer to listeners of this show, use coupon code ROLLTIDE for $5 off each calendar. To order yours, call 1-800-735-2787 or visit newlifeart.com today.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
Introducing Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Now available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Get in on the action at Pearl River Resort. New members get $50 of free play on us. Or if you haven't played with us since 2018, we're inviting you to come back and play. $50 on us. See Players Club for details.
Where's our sports fans? Place your bets now at the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. From the first pitch to the final down, the toss-up to the knockout, and everything in between, we'll keep you in action all season long. Play, win, repeat, only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casino's Pearl River Resort properties.
Hey fam, this is Kyle Henderson with BamaInsider.com, reminding you to join Mick Gillespie and me right after the game on the Bama Insider YouTube channel for the Bama Insider postgame show. We'll break down the game with instant analysis, have Nick Saban's press conference, and take your calls and comments. That's the Bama Insider postgame show right after Alabama plays on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. See you there. Please join us tonight for the Bama Insider postgame show on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Roll Tide, roll.
Well, howdy, fans, and welcome to Thanksgiving week and week 12 of Leonard's Losers. The little smart pill machine was 8-4 last week, so let's get her started and make some adjustments. Mississippi State versus Ole Miss. The winner here takes the Egg Bowl trophy plus state bragging rights. Rebel junior quarterback Matt Corral is sixth in the nation in passing with 337 yards per game and fourth in yards per attempt at 10.8. Coach Mike Leach's Bulldogs open as a 10-point underdog and best shore up their secondary for Corral's aerial assault. Leonard's loser, Mississippi State. Oklahoma versus West Virginia. The Sooner Schooner rolls into Morganton for this Big 12 matchup. The Mountaineers are undefeated at home and will give the number 14 Sooners a stern test. Oklahoma was impressive last week, drubbing Oklahoma State 41-13 and giving up only 246 total yards. The Conestoga canvas should hold off the Mountaineers' firepower. Leonard's loser, West Virginia. LSU versus Texas A&M. Coach O brings his Bengal Tigers to College Station, hoping to ambush the number 7 Aggies. A&M has had 2 weeks off due to the COVID. This is a veteran team looking for revenge from last year's loss in Baton Rouge. The Aggies have their eyes on a possible playoff spot, and Mike the Tiger could leave a few claws on Kyle Field when the final gun sounds in this one. Leonard's loser, LSU. Auburn versus Alabama. It's Iron Bowl time in Alabama as Auburn enters Tuscaloosa a 23-point underdog. This is the largest spread since 2012, and Malzahn's men are 0-3 in Tuscaloosa. The tide is high and will drown any War Eagle hopes of victory. Leonard's loser, Auburn. Fans, that does it for this Thanksgiving week. If you haven't done so, stop and count your blessings. And remember, if you can't wear a smile, wear a white hat so we can tell you from the bad guys. Get me out of here, Percy.
Oh, you got to love Leonard's loser. Kyle Henderson, Barry Buckner hanging out with me, Mick Gillespie. Before we give our picks, before we do anything else, we got to bring in Lance from Lance's Lock just to give us a little bit of help with our picks right now. I went 0-4 last week. I need to pay close attention to what LT says, Kyle.
Definitely. All right, here we go. Lance Taylor.
Great to talk with Lance Taylor from Jackson, Birmingham. You know him from his work on the Roundtable. And a lot of you guys, as this segment is brought to you by our friends at Pearl River Resort and the Timeout Sportsbook, know that when you're lounging there picking your games, you want to check out Lance's Lock. That's how you're going to find out about all the action going on in college, in the NFL. You cover all the sports, Lance.
I do. And, you know, Mick, I mean, college, as we actually are talking right now, college basketball just tipped off today. And there were 94 games on the board today. And I took a look at all 94, and it took me hours. But we whittled it down to 7 plays. And, look, we're going to have everything you need, man. We've got it for $90 a month. You'll get all college basketball once the NBA tips up on December 22nd. You're going to get that. Of course, college football, the NFL, sides and totals. Everything is $90, $3 a day, simple math. Put down a major credit card. You never have to talk to any of us. We give you a password. You go on the website. You get all the plays. Speaking of the plays, 4 consecutive winning weeks in the NFL, 7-0 last week in the NFL, Mick.
Well, I need your help because after starting off at just a breakneck pace, right, and a 14-4 record, I went 0-4 last week on the show. So I'm going to pay close attention to you. You know, my bubble was burst, as they say. That's why you're on here, Lance, because I should have just paid attention to you. Let's start with LSU at Texas A&M. Look, I know that the Tigers stink, but they did beat Arkansas last week. Texas A&M's been off because of COVID. This is a big game for them. I got them in mixed top 4 in number 4. I think they belong in the college football playoff right now, Texas A&M, but they got to win games like this. They got a 14-point spread. They need to cover.
Well, as you mentioned, man, it's been 3 weeks. They haven't played since November 7th, that 48-3 win over South Carolina, which ultimately got Will Muschamp fired. A&M only 3-5, their last 8 out against the number. Did you realize that Ed Orgeron still has not lost back-to-back games as the LSU coach? It will happen here. I agree with you. I'm really surprised at how good A&M has been, especially up front, their ability to run the football. We did have LSU minus the 2 last week against Arkansas, so we had a winner there. I don't trust LSU in back-to-back weeks. I think A&M is obviously well-rested. Now, interesting, they've lost 7 of their last 8 meetings against LSU since joining the SEC, but I think obviously more talent with A&M. I think A&M rolls here. I'll lay the points and take the Aggies.
All right, 14 points down. All right, how about the Egg Bowl, Mississippi State? They did a nice job losing to Georgia, but, you know, with a very slim roster, they got over, as they say in wrestling. You know, they lost, but they put up the valiant fight, and they're taking on Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. Last year, this got everybody fired, right? Both coaches got fired in this game. The Rebels have the home field advantage, and they're giving 9.5 up.
Yeah, it's a big number, and you're right, Elijah Moore. I mean, the dog crawl and the urination, I mean, it changed the direction of both of these programs, and probably for the better. I liked Matt Luke a lot. Joe Moorhead was just kind of a stick in mud. I still think Mike Leach can get this thing going in the right direction. And, you know, going back last week, if you don't get that great performance from JT Daniels, where it looks like there's finally a semblance of a quarterback in Athens, Mississippi State might have won that game. You know, I just feel like Will Rogers is getting more and more comfortable in this offense. Now, going back to the Florida Atlantic days, Lane Kiffin's been covering 14-7 his last 21 out. Mississippi State only 2-5 against the number their last 7. But I think this number's too big. It opened double digits. It's dipped down to 9.5. I think this will be a typical good battle, you know, fun Egg Bowl. I wish we had it on Thanksgiving night. But I'll take Mississippi State here plus the points.
So that's Ole Miss and Texas A&M and LSU and Mississippi State all in action. How about going outside of the SEC, and let's take a look at Oklahoma at West Virginia. The Mountaineers can be tough to play in Morgantown, and they're getting 11 points.
Neil Brown can coach. You know, I thought he was going to be overwhelmed when he left Troy and took that job. And, you know, they were so competitive last year. And, Mick, when I watch them this year, man, they have got the best defense in the Big 12. They're only allowing 161 passing yards per game, which is by far the best in the Big 12. It's the fewest in the FBS. You look at Oklahoma after starting conference play at 0-2. They've won 5 consecutive games. They look dominant in the Battle of Bedlam last week against Oklahoma State. But you look at West Virginia, man, they've covered 4 of their last 5 home games. You know, Letty Bell is a running back that actually can, you know, take it to the house at any minute. I like Jarrett Dagey, pretty good quarterback there. I think West Virginia's defense will be the difference here. This number is way too big. I'll take the Mountaineers.
All right, in our final game, things got interesting when Nick Saban came down with COVID. Obviously, all of us praying that he'll be all right, not just because he's, you know, a famous and beloved football coach, but because he's our guy and, you know, this is a dangerous disease right now. He won't be on the sideline when Alabama plays Auburn. The line really hasn't moved that much, though. Bama is a 24-point favorite.
Well, Sarkisian will take this thing over, and I don't think they will miss a beat, man. I mean, I look at Auburn and, you know, I think you go back to 2.5 minutes to go in that third quarter, and Garantano makes that awful throw, and Smoke Monday takes it to the house, and it was sitting there 13-10 Auburn. It could have been 17-13 Tennessee. Totally different game, in my opinion, if they get in there. Alabama on the other side has won back-to-back games by 40+, including the 60-point win against Kentucky. I think just way too much talent in Bryant-Denny. I think a little extra motivation. Not only from Nick Saban getting COVID, not being there, but also just some of the comments from Bo Nix this past week. I think Alabama rolls. 24.5 is a ton to lay in a game like this, especially against a ranked Auburn team sitting at 5-2. But I like Bama minus the points here.
All right, so LT says Texas A&M, you're giving up the points. Take Mississippi State. Take the points. Take the home dog in West Virginia, and Bama's going to roll in the Iron Bowl against Auburn. LT, great to talk to you again. Let's do it again next week. And again, Lance's Lock. That's the place where you're going to have all the plays. We love you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, Meg, this was just a little appetizer for us. 4-0, hopefully right there. And if you go to lanceslock.com, hopefully a huge weekend. But have a great Thanksgiving. Always fun to catch up with you.
He's muted. You're muted. Can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't unmute him either.
Muted. All right. Give us 1 second, fam. All right. Hold on, fam. We'll bring Mick's audio back right now.
All right, let me do that again, Kyle. You got me now? All right, let me say that all again, a big mouthful. The Bama Insider Tailgate Show is brought to you by Pearl River Resort and Casino in Choctaw. Now is a great time to make your picks count at the Timeout Sports Lounge and Sportsbook. $50 in free play available, and that is if you haven't played there in a year. So 365 days. All right, Trey Yannity, he's got the standings in our Pick'em contest. He's Kyle Henderson. I'm Mick Gillespie. Great to have Barry Buckner with us from Bama Buggies and Tuscaloosa Hyundai. He's my special guest picker out here at Innisfree. But first, Trey, I guess before I bring in the magic of Barry, you got to tell me what the standings are.
Yeah, you know, I usually dread this part of the segment. I love coming on, talking about our picks. But, you know, I always don't love giving the standings because we've been getting dominated. But this weekend, Kyle and I had a little magic in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Kyle now leads the overall standings. He went 4-0 this week. He's at 16-6. Mick had a tough week. He went 0-4. He's now at 14-8. Still in second place, though. I bring up the caboose, but it was a positive week. I had a 4-0 week as well. We're at 12-10 now, hanging in there. This is another big week. Still a chance for everybody in this thing. I like how it looks now.
It was a week. I mean, look, it was a bad week for me, a great week for Kyle, but we got more weeks to go. Normally, the Iron Bowl is when you bring out the championship belt, Barry, but we got LSU now next week in Arkansas after that.
Oh, me. I'd love to beat LSU.
Oh, come on. Yeah, exactly. They got it coming.
And Auburn.
Oh, yeah, we got to beat Auburn first. But I'm with you. All right, guys, let's go through these games. Let's pick these things. Let's start Alabama's next opponent, as announced today. LSU plus 14 at Texas A&M. You and Trey go first, and then Barry and I will caboose this first round.
Kyle, you want it?
Go ahead, man.
I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it. I love these SEC matchups late in the year. This one's become kind of a rivalry, LSU and A&M. Yeah. There was that 7 OT game just a couple years ago. But this year, I think it's not going to be much of a game at all. A&M is motivated. They're still pushing for the playoff very hard, obviously. Just outside of it right now, they need another resume win. LSU is not nearly what they've been in the past, but a win in the SEC is big. A chance to get some bragging rights. I got A&M covering this one. I think they're going to win by a good bit. What do you got, Kyle?
Lance brought up a good point. Ed Orgeron hasn't lost 2 consecutive games. I think it certainly happens. 14 points is a lot, but I think Texas A&M is trying to prove their worth in these college football playoff rankings, depending on what happens with Alabama. So, yeah, 14 points, it's a lot, but I think kind of the trajectory of LSU certainly on the decline. So I'll take Texas A&M. That's a lot of points. I don't feel confident about it, but let's see what Jimbo Fisher and the Aggies can do.
All right, what about you, Barry?
Well, let me tell you, I watched the Mississippi State LSU game, and you thinking, Lord, Mississippi State is a new team with this great coach with Mike Leach, and I'm thinking, wow, little did we know that LSU was just that bad. So I'm telling you, Texas A&M murders them to 14's an easy bet.
Yeah, I want to go against Kyle, but I can't on this one because I just think LSU stinks. I mean, plain and simple.
Terrible.
They're just terrible. I know they beat Arkansas, but I'm not totally sold on Arkansas. I mean, Arkansas is that team where you're like, oh, they fought hard, but they never win.
A blind hog finds a mud puddle every now and then.
Exactly. And so I'm with Barry, and at this end of things, we're both going to take the Aggies and lay down the 14. All right, second game, Mississippi State at Ole Miss. The Rebels are giving up 9.5 or whatever you want to call them. Barry, I'll start, and I'll let you go second. We'll send it back there. Mississippi State, they had to battle COVID, and they went to Georgia, and they did well. They didn't win, but they only lost by 7. But the rest of their games, they've been terrible. And I know Ole Miss can't play defense. I mean, they don't tackle anybody. But I think they'll tackle Mississippi State enough to win this football game. Lane Kiffin's going to try to run up the score. I'm going to take – I hate to give up the 9.5, and I hate to go against Lance. And I was 0-4 last week, but I'm going to take the Rebels and give up the 9.5.
Look, I love Mike Leach. If you've never watched anything, go to YouTube and go watch his explanation of the NCAA playoff for football. He is absolutely a great guy. And so in this game, I'm going to take MSU. I'm going to take Mississippi State. I think they possibly keep it close. And so that's my pick.
Hey, look, you get 9.5 points. What about you, Kyle?
I think Barry brings up a great point. I mean, I think, you could look at Mike Leach. Anything that he says is pretty much gold. Go on YouTube also and search his kind of definition about wedding planning. It's hilarious about him talking about the weddings and kind of everything that goes into it is just, completely hilarious. You got Leach taking on Kiffin. I mean, so many storylines in that one. The press conferences should be magical. 9 points is a lot. You never know what's going to happen. You got the Pirate taking on Kiffin. I think I'm going to go with Mississippi State. That's a lot of points. I think the over-under, I'd be curious to see what it is because I think there's going to be so many points in that particular game. But I'll take Mississippi State as well.
Yeah, this is a fun coaching matchup. Like you said, we got the Pirate versus Lane Kiffin. It's gonna be a good one. And it's sad because this is always a Thanksgiving classic that is so enjoyable that night. A little bit different this year. We think about that game last year. It ended in a very crazy fashion. Came down to the wire. Both very different teams. I think Ole Miss is going to cover this as well. I'm with you, Mick. Mississippi State is just that bad this year. They've struggled offensively and have continued to digress with the opt-outs, everything else. And Mississippi can score the football a good bit. So I have them covering. 9.5 is right on the border there, but I'm going to take the Rebels.
Now, this is how I fell into second place. Trey and I started to agree on a lot of picks. I'm with you, Trey. Look, I'm with you. I look at this next game, though. Maryland at number 12, Indiana. It's an 11.5-point game. Barry, we know all about Talia, and we know about his brother Tua. And now Talia's leading Maryland. They beat Penn State, a huge win for them. Indiana coming off of a loss to Ohio State. I'll let you go first. I'll go, and we'll send it back there. Maryland and Indiana.
Look, I got a great friend that lives in Indiana, and I've never met the guy, but, I helped him. It's a long story in business, and so he's a big Notre Dame fan, and I can't help but hate him. And so, look, I'm taking Maryland.
You're taking Maryland in 11.5. Look, I'm going to go against you on this one. I just think Indiana's good. I think Indiana would have beat Ohio State had they mentally prepared themselves to win the football game. See, I think a lot of things in life it's not just doing it, it's thinking that you can do it. And they didn't think they could do it until the second half of that football game. I like Mike Locksley, former Alabama offensive coordinator, but I think Indiana's going to beat Maryland by more than 11.5, and I think Indiana's going to platoon themselves right up into the top 10 with that victory. What about you, Trey?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say I think they cover for a few different reasons. This is an Indiana team that's motivated. They've had a lot of different storylines that have fueled the program this year, and this is a good football team. Like you said, Michael Penix, these kids are playing well, tough loss, and Maryland hasn't played in 3 weeks either, so you got to factor that in. It's going to be a team that's going to need some reps to get back into it, in a real game situation. I think Indiana rolls them pretty good at home as well. Give me the Hoosiers.
All right. I think when you look at this matchup, I'm really excited because I believe Coach Locksley has started to transform Maryland. And I think that Talia Tagovailoa was the quarterback that he was looking forward to. Indiana, how good are they? How good is any team from the Big Ten? We just don't know yet. 11 points is a lot. And I think Talia Tagovailoa, he's a gamer. And I think, every so often Maryland, you just don't know what they're going to do. But I think this team is better than I think a lot of people are giving them credit for. So I think it's going to be tight. I think Indiana wins the game, but I'm going to take Maryland. And I think it's going to be a very entertaining game with a lot of points.
All right, it's time for our lock of the week. And Barry, this is kind of one of those games we just pick some random game. So you and I will team up on this one right here. All right?
All right.
And Barry's going to hang around for next segment too. But Barry knows about winning, and so does Penn State, but not this year. Penn State's 0-5, the Nittany Lions, right? Michigan's 2-3. Michigan's a 1-point favorite because both of them are that bad, right? I'm saying Penn State's going 0-6. Barry, you just jump on the wagon with me. You remember when Joe Pa was there. They used to be so good.
I'm taking Michigan.
You're taking Michigan.
I'm taking Michigan. I'm going against you.
So you're saying there's no way they go to 0-6.
That's right.
He's saying there's no way they go to 0-6. I'm saying it's 0-6 right now for James Franklin, that Penn State does not beat Michigan. So we're going opposite on our locks of the week. What about you, Kyle?
All right, when the game's not on the board, I love to go with the Alabama Crimson Tide as a lock. I mean, this is the Iron Bowl, and I think that this team is coming into this game so dialed in, and I think they are going to put on a show against Auburn. This is where redemption starts. Back-to-back weeks, you got the Iron Bowl, then you got a trip to Baton Rouge. It's a lot of points. I get it, but I think Alabama's offense is going to be very dialed in. I think you're going to get a heavy dose of Najee Harris. I think the defense continues to play, very good football, and I think Alabama rolls Auburn. I don't know what the score is going to be, but I'm definitely thinking that the Alabama Crimson Tide put it on Auburn during this Iron Bowl.
Yeah, I like the thought there, Kyle. And I think that's, Vegas is what makes games like this so fun, games that look like they're going to be lopsided, because there's different, aspects you can gamble on and, make picks like that to cover whatnot. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to go outside of the SEC, though. I'm going to go to the Big Ten, Northwestern Michigan State. Right now, the over-under set at 41.5. They play a lot of defense in the Big Ten. But I think this Northwestern team is motivated. They're rolling. Michigan State's been able to score the ball at times this year. Their first 2 games, they scored 27 apiece. So I think they're gonna cover that one there. I don't like to take 4 covers, but you know what? I got that one. The over hitting as my lock of the week.
All right, we'll find out. Kyle's in first for the first time this year, and we just picked those 4 games, so we'll see what happens. Hey, guys, don't forget, next week and the week after that, we're going to be at the Floribama down in Orange Beach, doing it on the line. That's where we'll be the next 2 Fridays, Alabama LSU and Alabama Arkansas. And we invite all of you guys from LA, Lower Alabama, or from wherever else down there to come hang out with us at Floribama. I'm excited. I cannot wait to get down there. It's going to be a great
Big
time.
Earl show. You ever seen Big Earl?
I know Big Earl. I want Big Earl to come in and sit where you're at next week.
Jack Robinson's a great guy.
Maybe Big Earl will come hang out with us. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk Alabama and Auburn. That's presented by Bama Buggies. We got Barry Buckner's going to stick around and hang out with us. More Bama Insider Tailgate Show coming up.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Special purchase 70 Tucsons in Tuscaloosa starting at $19,989. First come, first served while they last. Tuscaloosa Hyundai has made a special purchase of new Tucsons starting at $19,989. All with our exclusive 1,000,000-mile warranty, no charge. Over 70 Tucsons in Tuscaloosa starting at $19,989.
It's why you drive home happy.
Exclusively at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
R&R Cigars invites you to come down to the Cigar Mansion. Located in the historic Maxwell Mansion downtown, over 1,000 cigars and over 100 bourbons await you. The Cigar Mansion is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar, bourbon, and then watch the tide roll. Tell them the Bama Insider Tailgate Show sent you, and you'll get a cigar and an Angel's Envy bourbon for $10. You can't find a better place to relax and watch the game than the Cigar Mansion R&R Cigars. R&R Cigars, 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, by the Home 2 Suites.
Switching your job is stressful. Switching your schools is painful. But switching your insurance to Allstate, it really couldn't be easier. At Allstate, you call one local agent who can assist you with all your policies and make your paperwork simple. Here in Tuscaloosa and Northport, Allstate agent Andrew Kniffer can help you protect everything from your home, car, boat, motorcycle, or even RV, ATV, and snowmobile. Stop by Andrew Kniffer's office today at 4705 McFarland Boulevard. Are you in good hands? Prices vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms, conditions, and availabilities.
Bama Buggies, proud to support the Crimson Tide, always a superstar lineup. And what a lineup at Bama Buggies, one of Alabama's largest volume power sports dealers featuring the brands you love. Polaris, Sea-Doo, Slingshot, $54.99. All the fun you can stand starting at just $54.99. The best seats in the outdoors on sale now. Bama Buggies on Skyland Boulevard East, BamaBuggies.com. Price plus tax. Discount off MSRP includes all manufacturer incentives, dealer discounts, and freight while supplies last. See dealer for details. Expires in a month.
Get in on the action at Pearl River Resort. New members get $50 of free play on us. Or if you haven't played with us since 2018, we're inviting you to come back and play. $50 on us. See Players Club for details.
Where's our sports fans? Place your bets now at the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. From the first pitch to the final down, the toss-up to the knockout, and everything in between, we'll keep you in action all season long. Play, win, repeat. Only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casino's Pearl River Resort properties.
Do you consider yourself a black sheep, misfit, or screwball? If so, we've got the perfect drink for you. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball combines two of America's favorite, peanut butter and whiskey. Enjoy it neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Screwball, the original most awarded peanut butter whiskey, is now available near you. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. Enjoy responsibly.
Advertisement by Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
It's time to get back to the great outdoors, to making memories, to feeling like yourself again. The world may have slowed down, but here in Sevierville, Tennessee, we know that just means there's more time to enjoy it all. It's time to get back to the Smoky Mountains. And when getting there brings you back, you know you're in Sevierville, Tennessee. Your Smokies start here. Learn more about traveling safely at visitsevierville.com.
Number 2, Alabama versus Auburn, the Iron Bowl. Today's matchup powered by Bama Buggies. The Bama Buggies Alabama Insider Tailgate Show is brought to you by our friends at Bama Buggies. Bama Buggies is a touchdown for anyone looking for an ATV, a Sea-Doo, motorcycle, or side-by-side. Hunting season is here, and Bama Buggies has you covered. with Kyle Henderson. I'm Mick Gillespie. Our good friend Barry Buckner is here. Hey, Bama Buggies, that's your place. And I got to tell you, congratulations. You guys just got an enormous award.
Well, thank you. You know, as a matter of fact, we got all three. You know, Tuscaloosa Hyundai was the best of the best in Tuscaloosa County of all the new car dealerships in town. Bama Buggies was the best power sports store of all the power sports stores in town, and then also Landmark Collision Center. So I'm awfully grateful for all of our employees and how hard they work, and it's all about taking care of people.
Hey, no doubt about it. I mean, that's what I was going to say, but it also says a lot about you too. You know, when you find someone that's good, you go after them, treat them right, and they're going to make everybody else happy.
I got great people. You know, we have almost 100 employees, and all I can do is share a vision, taking care of people, and that's what they do. And it's an honor to have all these people, and it's an honor to have Hyundai, Polaris, and Sea-Doo, and also Landmark Collision, and it's a great business.
We really appreciate you guys being part of the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Kyle, let's talk football with Barry and me. The Iron Bowl, can Alabama possibly look past the Iron Bowl with LSU now on the schedule next week?
Here we go.
No, I mean, absolutely not. I don't think so. I mean, I think this team knows that Auburn is clearly a team to be reckoned with. I think this is a team that you can't overlook. I know just a segment ago, I'm talking that Alabama is going to cover this enormous line, but I think that Auburn, they'll have tricks. I mean, Gus Malzahn, if there's been anyone that has been able to, get the best of Nick Saban, it's been Gus Malzahn. You look at it, he's 3-4 since taking over at Auburn, and it's a good football team. I mean, they play very well on the defensive side of the ball. Kevin Steele will certainly have a game plan set in mind to stop Devontae Smith. We talked about that during several of our shows, and I think you might have to lean on Najee Harris. I think you're going to have a big game from Mac Jones, and I think the special teams is going to have to continue to play at a very high level. Auburn's a very good football team, and they're coming in, with one goal. And if they can ruin Alabama's perfect season so far, that's going to make their entire season. So Auburn's certainly a team to be reckoned with. So you can't overlook Auburn looking to LSU because this LSU game, it's really they don't really even need to play that game, to be honest. But it all starts against Alabama and Auburn. They have to be lasered in and dialed in to face a very good team.
What's the most important keys for Alabama today beating Auburn?
I think, like I said, it's playing mistake-free football. I think last year, if they played mistake-free football, they win that game, right? They missed a field goal. They had 2 pick sixes. There was a couple different things that just didn't go their way coaching-wise. So I think if they go into this game and they play mistake-free football, and especially don't turn over the football, you can't have Auburn stay in this game. If you can take them out of the game and then take the air out of it with Najee Harris later in that second half, then that's what you got to do. But I think big plays against Auburn will certainly get into that mindset that Auburn can't beat this team, but you can't allow Auburn to stay in this game. No way, no how. I think you got to score touchdowns. I think you got to score a lot of them, and I think Steve Sarkisian's certainly going to do that.
Make your next visit to Tuscaloosa memorable at Hotel Indigo downtown near, obviously, the Black Warrior River and the Northport Bridge and everything else. You can walk to campus if you're here to check out a football game or a sporting event or a graduation or whatever. You're right near downtown. That's Hotel Indigo. When we come back, we've got our game prediction segment. That's powered by Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Don't go anywhere. We're going to wrap up the show, the Bama Insider Tailgate Show, Alabama and Auburn, the Iron Bowl edition, right after this.
This isn't just a beer. It's a lager. A medium-bodied, amber-colored, one-of-a-kind beer. Made from those bold enough to brew it, for those bold enough to drink it. Elevate your taste. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Special purchase, 70 Tucsons in Tuscaloosa starting at $19,989. First come, first serve while they last. Tuscaloosa Hyundai has made a special purchase of new Tucsons starting at $19,989. All with our exclusive 1,000,000-mile warranty, no charge. Over 70 Tucsons in Tuscaloosa starting at $19,989.
It's why you drive home happy.
Exclusively at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove.
R&R Cigars invites you to come down to the Cigar Mansion. Located in the historic Maxwell Mansion downtown, over 1,000 cigars and over 100 bourbons await you. The Cigar Mansion is your home for all sports. Outsource your man cave to R&R. Get a cigar, bourbon, and then watch the tide roll. Tell them the BamaInsider Tailgate Show sent you, and you'll get a cigar and an Angel's Envy bourbon for $10. You can't find a better place to relax and watch the game than the Cigar Mansion R&R Cigars. R&R Cigars, 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, by the Home 2 Suites.
The city of Tuscaloosa offers you the combination of great adventures and great overnight accommodations. From exciting sports to unbelievable history, you'll find it all in Tuscaloosa. Here for you, here for your whole family. Go hiking or mountain biking, try paddleboarding or kayaking, witness our civil rights trail or an ancient Native American city. Eat our barbecue or hamburgers, enjoy our nightlife or music scene. And when you plan your Tuscaloosa getaway, plan to stay a while. Head to visittuscaloosa.com for your free visitor's guide.
Bama Buggies, proud to support the Crimson Tide, always a superstar lineup. And what a lineup at Bama Buggies, one of Alabama's largest volume power sports dealers featuring the brands you love. Polaris, Sea-Doo, Slingshot, $54.99. All the fun you can stand starting at just $54.99. The best seats in the outdoors on sale now. Bama Buggies on Skyland Boulevard East, BamaBuggies.com. Price plus tax. Discount off MSRP includes all manufacturer incentives, dealer discounts, and freight while supplies last. See dealer for details. Expires in a month.
Get in on the action at Pearl River Resort. New members get $50 of free play on us. Or if you haven't played with us since 2018, we're inviting you to come back and play. $50 on us. See Players Club for details.
Where's our sports fans? Place your bets now at the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. From the first pitch to the final down, the toss-up to the knockout, and everything in between, we'll keep you in action all season long. Play, win, repeat. Only at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casino's Pearl River Resort properties.
Experience the true spirit of Tuscaloosa at Hotel Indigo, downtown's first waterfront hotel overlooking the Black Warrior River. Hotel Indigo is perfectly located near a myriad of unique shops, restaurants, and the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. You rolling with the tide? Hotel Indigo is less than a mile from the University of Alabama. The lookout bar on the roof of Hotel Indigo is the best place in Tuscaloosa to enjoy great views, appetizers, and spirits with friends. Book Hotel Indigo now and enjoy the best of Tuscaloosa.
It's time to get back to the great outdoors, to making memories, to feeling like yourself again. The world may have slowed down, but here in Sevierville, Tennessee, we know that just means there's more time to enjoy it all. It's time to get back to the Smoky Mountains. And when getting there brings you back, you know you're in Sevierville, Tennessee. Your Smokies start here. Learn more about traveling safely at visitsevierville.com.
Game prediction segment is driven by Tuscaloosa Hyundai. This is the BamaInsider Tailgate Show. It's presented by Tuscaloosa Hyundai, the Elantra, the Sonata, or an SUV like the Tucson. Tailgating does not get any better. With Barry Buckner from Tuscaloosa Hyundai, I'm Mick Gillespie. Kyle Henderson is back in the home studio. Kyle, final thoughts. Alabama, 24-point favorite over Auburn in the Iron Bowl, 2:30 today.
I mean, obviously, the biggest storyline is Nick Saban's not going to be on the sideline, but I think they're going to be in good hands with Steve Sarkisian. You're looking at a guy with head coaching experience. You're looking at a guy who has really had this offense playing at such a high level. You look at the play of Mac Jones. You look at the play of Najee Harris. But I think one thing that we haven't even talked about during the show is Alabama's offensive line, and that may be the biggest factor in this entire game. I think Landon Dickerson, Alex Leatherwood, Evan Neal, those guys will continue to play at a very high level and allow Mac Jones and allow Najee Harris to do what they need to do on the offensive side of the ball and the defense, right? You look at how they've been trending. Patrick Surtain, Dylan Moses, we have to see big games from Alabama's leaders, and I think they have to play opportunistic football. Look for a guy like Malachi Moore, who's been playing through the roof, to come up with one of those plays that changes the momentum of the game. I think overall, the Cards favor Alabama. It's a big spread, and I think Vegas knows that Alabama is going to come into this game very dialed in. And I mean, it's not about style points, but it's a rivalry game. And I think considering that Auburn won this game last year, Alabama certainly wants to take it to the Tigers.
And no doubt about it. And don't forget, after the ball game, Kyle hosts a call-in show on the BamaInsider YouTube channel. He'll be taking your calls about the Iron Bowl after the game. So where you're watching right now, just all you got to do is come right back here. And if you're listening on Jocks 2, 100.5, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, get on the internet and go to the Bama Insider YouTube channel, whether it's your smart TV or on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, and hang out with Kyle after the game. Barry, it's been fun hanging out with you. You got to give me your final thoughts.
Well, let me tell you, my dad was a huge Auburn fan all his life, and then all of a sudden he changed and was an Alabama fan, and he taught me to be an Auburn fan, and then all of a sudden I told him, I said, there's nothing worse than an Auburn fan, Dad. He said, what's that? And I said, an Auburn fan that's now an Alabama fan. Well, I've been here 31 years now, and let me tell you, I'm an Alabama fan. And look, Alabama will absolutely annihilate Auburn. They're going to make up for last year's loss, 56-9. They absolutely cover it. They just absolutely annihilate Auburn tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I mean, like, Kyle, I see you got a big smile on your face back there.
I mean, I think, Barry could be right. I mean, I think Alabama will be so dialed in and kind of playing for Coach Saban. Let's prove it for Coach Saban, something like that. So I think when you're looking at a score prediction, I think, somewhere in the realm of Alabama 49 to maybe Auburn 17, Auburn 20, something like that. Auburn's going to have some tricks and something always goes Auburn's way somehow, some way. We've watched these games long enough to know that. But I think Alabama's offense will be too tough to stop. And I think that'll ultimately be the difference in this game.
I mean, like, when you do an Iron Bowl show, you can't keep Bradley Price from being in here. I mean, like, he's rolled over here, Barry. Look at him. He's not on camera right now.
Look.
But what Bradley knows is that Alabama is going to hand the ball off a lot tomorrow, right? Yes. They're going to hand it off to Najee, and he's going to run right through Auburn like a hot knife through butter. And, Bradley, that's why Alabama's going to dominate the game. They're going to score a lot of points. When it's all said and done, Barry, it's going to be Alabama 55 and Auburn 22.
Auburn never scores that many.
You don't think they get that many? Huh?
They don't get it. They don't get out a single digit.
I guess the only thing we can do is just sit around and watch and see what happens. But for those of you that got tickets to the game, enjoy it. Kyle, any final thoughts before we quickly bid everyone farewell?
No, we just appreciate you guys watching, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, or listening on the radio broadcast or on our podcast. We sincerely appreciate you guys being with us and enjoying kind of the whole holiday week with us right here on BamaInsider.com. I know you guys have really had a warm embrace for Mick Gillespie, and he's provided a lot to the channel, obviously, so we want to continue to encourage to support him. You can check out all our coverage back at BamaInsider.com. We'll have tons of comprehensive coverage regarding the 2020 Iron Bowl back at Bama Insider. And just as Mick said, following the game, remember the Bama Insider post-game call-in show immediately following the game right here on YouTube. We'll have tons of coverage, and of course, we'll have the press conference with not Nick Saban. We'll have the press conference with Steve Sarkisian, which will be the first time that another head football coach has talked in Nick Saban's place since Nick Saban's arrived here at Alabama. So talk about something that's going to be out of the ordinary, having another coach talk in place of Nick Saban. So we'll have all that coverage right here at Bama Insider.
It's so fun working with Kyle. And one thing, he's like, he doesn't really want us wearing Alabama gear, but he didn't say anything about wearing Bear Bryant's houndstooth jacket. So those you guys are listening on radio right now, that's what I did tonight. This is what the Iron Bowl is all about. Check Kyle out after the game, BamaInsider.com. Thanks to Trip Rogers and LT and everybody else for hanging out with us. We really appreciate you guys so much. And from everyone here at Innisfree, reminding you the next week we're going to be, and the next 2 weeks we're going to be down at Floribama, which is in Orange Beach. Thanks for watching, guys, and roll tide.
The Floribama Beach Bar is open at full capacity with no COVID restrictions. It's time to slip on back to Orange Beach for multiple stages of live music daily, free bingo Monday through Friday, and football watching all season long on tons of TVs. There's never been a better time to enjoy sunsets from the beachfront bars with a famous bushwhacker. Floribama is one of the top beach bars in the world, and under Florida guidelines has no COVID restrictions. Planning on a bachelor or bachelorette party? Then come do it on the line. Find out more at ForBama.com. Experience the true spirit of Tuscaloosa at Hotel Indigo, downtown's first waterfront hotel overlooking the Black Warrior River. Hotel Indigo is perfectly located near a myriad of unique shops, restaurants, and the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. You rolling with the tide? Hotel Indigo is less than a mile from the University of Alabama. The Lookout Bar on the roof of Hotel Indigo is the best place in Tuscaloosa to enjoy great views, appetizers, and spirits with friends. Book Hotel Indigo now and enjoy the best of Tuscaloosa.